Good afternoon. Welcome back here to the SCL. You all right there, Graham?
Yeah, I dropped something. I was just trying to pick it up. My bad.
How's it going, folks? We're getting things underway as far as our relegations are concerned for our Smite Console League. My name is Tom, and this right here next to me is Graham. We're halfway through the day so far, and teams have been battling it out to come up on top. This, of course, is the battle to get into the Smite Console League.
Yep. And as you can see, there's 4 teams involved, 2 spots available for them. And at the moment, Checo is the new black, and my guys have both found a win so far. Each team play each other team once in a best of 1. Top winners come out on top, obviously. And the next one we're going to be seeing is Forgot to Trade versus Noble. And the big difference there is, as you can see by the standings right now, Forgot to Trade is a little bit behind, and my guys will be looking to, Noble will be looking to try and find a win here as well.
Yeah, both of these teams really need to find a win right now. They have 2 losses, obviously, as you can see. So Forgot to Trade, Noble Esports. Somebody's got to win, so this is certainly going to
someone's got to lose as well. So this actually puts one of these 2 teams to bed, potentially, as well. So whoever loses this game, more than likely, will not be joining the Pro League, unless some crazy circumstance happens.
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. Still a lot of Smite to be played this afternoon. Zeus is going to be banned out. The Z-Man, as Aggro affectionately calls him, is certainly a little strong right now, and Thoth is the expected ban.
My favorite thing is that console has caught up to PC now, so we are on Season 4, so very, very similar things for the console players as well as the PC. So same sort of style of bans will come through, the likes of Sylvanas, the likes of Thoth, and we'll see as time goes on whether any interesting differences happen between the 2 styles.
Well, the Giannis ban is certainly something that strikes me a little bit differently. Giannis has not been prioritized over on the PC League for some reason, even though the man can walk through walls. Susano is a character that people like. He's risen to prominence recently, very mobile and very troublesome when it comes to disruption.
Very, very good all throughout the game as well, in my opinion, just because Bluestone at the start allows him to clear a little bit quicker and do more damage in these little engagements where he wants to go in and burst. But Izanami has now risen to prominence in Season 4 overall here, being drafted for Noble, very good at the push, can go in mid lane as well, but push power is very, very strong.
It's about that clear, like you mentioned, and that's why Ymir next to her is going to be very strong here for that duo lane. You're right, some players do like her in the mid lane. Not me. I think that she's better applied in that long lane, but that's just my opinion. We'll see where Noble elects to go. Ratatoskr and Apollo, 2 globals to complement Forgot to Trade's jungler right now.
But with that, Ratatoskr more than likely solo lane, and you talk about the global mobility. Well, Rat from solo lane and Apollo from duo lane, both combined in mid lane, we could have, you know, a nice big gank fest going on.
Thanatos is going to be chasing around the little rat. He'll be able to make his moves in the jungle, most likely, of course, keep that solo lane in mind. We have seen him soloed most recently by Variety.
Yeah, now Tyr banned out as well. Pretty wise ban there. Obviously, you're going to be Ratatoskr and solo. You don't want anyone with too much sustain in there if you can help it, so maybe focus out that. As well as Tyr's just fantastic at the level 1 fight. We talk about the level 1 clear a lot. Tyr, with changed stance, can clear the wave on his own pretty much instantaneously with a quick change of stance.
Hercules is going to be banned here today, another character that's risen to prominence in Season 4. Shield of Regrowth was already good. It got even better come Season 4. And when you look at what Hercules is able to do, he's just a very powerful guy.
You mentioned Shield of Regrowth getting a buff. Hercules technically got one as well, though, because he did get some extra protections on his heal. His heal's a little bit more instantaneous now as well after the mitigate wounds has been popped, so it makes him a little bit more survivable. However, he's now against a Poseidon that's been locked in. Sorry, he's not going to be against a Poseidon, but Poseidon locked in here. He's actually going to be very good against this whole composition. All of them really rely on their mobility, and they're all going to get shut down by a Whirlpool. A single Whirlpool could really disrupt the whole of Forgot to Trade's team.
Even the backfire coming out from Vulcan. Really got to look out for that. Noble Esports going to finish up their composition with a Vamana. So that Thanatos will be in the jungle, Izanami, Ymir dual lane, and Poseidon, of course, in the mid. Pretty standard stuff coming out from Noble Esports. Forgot to Trade in a little bit different position with the Assassin in the solo lane, but still a very exciting composition.
Well, the question is now is, do Forgot to Trade send Bacchus in the mid lane at the start, or do they send him to the dual lane? Bacchus isn't the greatest at the level 1 clear overall. Noble Esports definitely have push power in dual lane here with Izanami and Ymir. There's not many that can actually outpush that combo.
Forgot to Trade, Noble Esports. Let's get into it.
I wonder if they forgot to trade. It'd be really weird to have a name like Forgot to Trade and then remember to trade, wouldn't it? That doesn't make sense.
Well, we do have the Ratatoskr in the solo lane. Maybe he was meant to jungle, and they just forgot to trade.
There you go. That's why they picked 2 assassins, just to give you that air of, like, we're still sticking to our team name as time goes on.
Mythic and Truancii are 2 very popular players around in the console scene. Rippin Holes has looked fantastic throughout the day. You saw his play breakdown last game specifically, but Truancii over here in Mythic, Truancii actually made it to LAN last time around, but wasn't able to come with the team. Mythic, on the other hand, just a very talented guy, and he knows it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though, because I don't remember this, because Rippin Holes used to be the support player, right? And now he's switched to the AD carry role here. So it's going to be interesting to see him go up against Lou, who's an established player on the side of Noble Esports here, playing the Izanami. Lou's been around the scene for a very long time. Big in the Challenger Cup over on the PC side of things, came to console, and he's slowly, I wouldn't say making huge waves, but he's very consistent over here, too.
Yeah, you might not recognize Lou. He has a very different name on the PC side. Over here on console, he's xxxLOU. On PC, he's xLOU X. So that might actually throw you for a loop.
It is a little bit tricky.
It might throw you for a loop.
It did. It threw me for an X, that's for sure, not necessarily a loop. A Lou. It threw me for a Lou. There you go. That's better.
Well, in lieu of talking about names, why don't we move over to the actual compositions? Noble Esports have a lot of push on the right side of the map, and they're going to be able to take that speed right away. Aeromatica on that jungle. Thanatos certainly off to a good start.
I thought I'd like this call coming out from Noble to, have Ymir start mid and go, okay, extra push power, cool. But why send 3 to the speed buff? Why are we sending 3 to the blue? Where Forgot to Trade have invaded the blue on with just 2 members here. Luckily enough, though, I think Forgot to Trade made a small misplay there. They could have gone for the speed as well, but not knowing where the enemy was, which was in their own jungle, they should have realized that they were losing their buffs as well.
Instead, Noble Esports go ahead and they're able to clean up those the little gremlins by the fire giant as well. Now heading over to mid lane.
Just to keep an eye on Forgot to Trade again, look at that. Susano and Ratatoskr now will go to the speed buff overall. It was good work actually from Mythic in the mid lane on that Vulcan to push that wave in alone to make sure there was some sort of pressure there.
Noble Esports also going to watch. Lou is going to watch as his purple buff gets taken away by the guys on Forgot to Trade. That's to be expected, though. It's very interesting the way the season works out. yoyoabc in some trouble, dodging out the nonsense from the Ratatoskr right there. Basically, what the beginning of these Season 4 games have been calculated disadvantages. You understand where you come short, and you just deal with it.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I've seen about both these two teams so far in this game specifically is the fact that Forgot to Trade have adapted to Season 4. They've been focusing a lot onto the solo laner, which we've seen quite often just lately, with the junglers babysitting solo lane in the early game to start. However, Noble Esports, they've stuck as a 3-man unit, which is very reminiscent of Season 3. They've not really changed things up yet. They've basically had 3 members mid the entire game, which could come back to haunt them in the grand scheme of things, dependent on how the game continues, because they do get behind the experience by splitting it 3 ways, and not just the 2 that we're seeing a little bit more often now.
Yeah, I think that I'm not sure. We'll have to keep an eye and see if that actually does make the impact. Right now, you can see there's about a level down, specifically in the solo lane. Truancii gets protected by a little bit of help from his mid lane. For the moment, that meditation is actually going to save the life of Truancii.
Funny enough, that wall was great there, but the actual Vulcan turret placement there from Mythic was actually a big deal. It forced Noble to actually just consider going in there, even though it's only a turret that's doing a little bit of damage. If the backfire connects off that turret's going to swing a little bit harder.
Yeah, you certainly. And when it comes down to Vulcan, you don't really. At level 4, you as the opponent aren't aware yet of where he's going to be prioritizing his talent points. Yeah. So whether or not you're going to get hit by that turret really hard or just a little poke, you don't know yet.
It's normally around 6. It's around 6 or 7, actually more like 7 before you really realize. Hang on a second, is that turret really hurting?
Yeah.
No, it's the backfire that's hurting. No, it's the meatball that's really crushing me now. So Vulcan does have a little bit of a flavor, being able to mix it up a little bit, but it does benefit him a lot of time just to go for the backfire max.
Yeah, especially right now where the game is largely about clear. Backfire is going to be the superior clear option, but that's one of the things we mentioned all the time about Vulcan is that you have a lot of wiggle room with what you're going to level, as opposed to some of the other characters.
I was going to say as well, in Season 4, if mid laners do get left alone quite a bit with the turret, hang on a second, Lou might be in a bit of trouble here trying to stall all this on his own, especially as he's been caught in the jungle and he's still trying to escape right now, but he's suffering with what Izanami suffers with, which is her escape is easily catchable, and that means for a dead Izanami.
Yeah, you just can't hang out that long in the opponent's jungle. Lou thought he would be safe because of the invisibility coming out from Izanami, but Forgot to Trade. They cover both options. They find her. She doesn't really leave him at all. Yeah. And she just gets smoked for first blood.
But going back to what I was going to say, Vulcan could be something that rises as time goes on here. Because mids get left alone so long, if you are going to be pressured early as a Vulcan, you could max the turret to make sure you don't lose gold to the towers overall, and be able to freeze the wave a little bit, wait for your minions to come back out. That could come into play. Meanwhile, if you do have the push power, you can max the backfire, or even the meatball for extra damage. Necessarily not the meatball, though. It's not often you'll see that maxed first, but it does
Usually-
have a potential play with it.
Usually only when there's something to disrupt from it, right? If you want to like really topple characters like Isis or something, if you're trying to play interrupt man, that's really what you're looking for.
And that meatball can actually be useful when it's a single person you're up against, just to get confirmed damage, because it's actually really easy to connect a meatball on most people.
Yeah.
It's a little bit easier to connect than most of Vulcan's other abilities.
Uh-oh, Poseidon in some trouble, gets grabbed. He's going to use his ultimate in response, but it doesn't matter. Jumpa is able to pick him up. Easy kill for the jungler. It's 2-zip.
Actually, a little overlooked thing there between that combination of Truancii and Jumper doing so well together was how far apart they stayed from each other, because it made it very difficult for xNazarian there to pick a target. He wanted to knock them both up to buy himself a second with the ult. Instead, he could only hit one, and the other one killed him. It's pretty much that story.
Just like those harpies. One goes to Forgot to Trade, one goes to Noble Esports. Neither team gets the free vision on the objective.
And that's the important thing around those going forward, is making sure you at least get one of those oracles every time. If you're going to go up there and try and take them for your team, make sure you burst one down first and focus it before you try and focus onto the other one. Otherwise, you could get them both low and then have them both stripped away by somebody just rotating in with one ability.
Yeah, I really like that. That might be my favorite aspect of that camp, the fact that you can split it and everything goes pretty much even as it was before. I really like that interaction.
It's a big power play situation too, because you're like, well, we can give him a free ward there. The most interesting thing about that is that the Gold Fury no longer really costs you a sentry ward too much in the grand scheme of things, because you'd normally go there and drop a sentry ward to make sure they've not got vision. But if you know they got the oracles, you know they've got vision, and the sentry's not going to clear it, so you could just drop a normal ward there yourself in response. And the enemy having vision on it, they're not going to drop a sentry in response, so it just becomes a normal ward placement then because of the oracles.
Yeah, right there, that ward on the way to Gold Fury coming out of the mid lane, that seems to be where players are really using their sentry wards lately, because like you said, you sort of have an extra one with that in mind. So it's that pathway you see right there, Bacchus walking right over that ward. That's the sentry ward that really comes out, denying the opponent the vision of you walking to the Gold Fury, which will really tell your story.
Right now the builds are very, very similar between the two teams. I do like the death toll on Aeromatica on that Thanatos. We're not really seeing him do anything just yet, and now he's in trouble.
Oh, we're going to see him do something right now, Hindu. We're going to watch him die.
I was about to say, like, we've seen the build come online. He's a Thanatos. As Thanatos, you're looking to pressure early, find some death size, maybe potentially snowball a lane for one of your teammates. But if you just hang back and watch, and you don't do much, you're not really that useful.
Thanatos really needs to, I have preached for years on years that yoyoabc gets aggressive by himself, and Jumpa makes the rotation, picking up his third kill in 7 minutes. Wow.
Funny enough, Jumpa gets that kill, but he didn't really do much of the work for that. If anything, it was more Nexamiss. Is it Nexamiss? Yeah. Nexamiss did most of that work there overall. Nothing more than that, and then he just turned up just as Big Baby was popped. A little bit late on the Big Baby yoyoabc. I guess he was looking to really hold it. He felt safe enough, but then the rotation came in.
Yeah, well, yoyoabc thought that was a 1v1 and ulted and decided to get all testy. Vulcan ultimate completely off the mark.
Well, it was off the mark because Truancii was looking for the flop, and the flop wasn't exactly where he thought it was going to be.
I still like the shot.
The idea and the style from Forgot to Trade there was very smart, but now they might get punished a little bit for it. Or maybe not.
Yeah, Truancii is going to be chased into his own jungle. Nice little wall coming up from the Thor, but the stun a little bit better. There's the Kraken, that's trouble. The mid laner gets credit for it. Thanatos in the sky, try to find a target. Won't. He'll just land amongst friends and pick up the speed buff.
Big important turnaround there as well, especially because the mid and the jungle were both behind on Noble Esports from taking those tumbles early on. Getting one of those two a kill was very important. I noticed that Supra there on the Ymir, he had the opportunity just to freeze whenever he wanted to make sure the Bacchus couldn't escape, but he didn't want to secure the kill was the issue, so he was relying on his teammates a little bit more, and it paid off just about.
Gold Fury Harpies one more time taken, this time by a single team. So Noble Esports will have the vision over there by the Gold Fury. They'll be able to use that. Very importantly, as we're approaching 10 minutes, that's really when teams start to really get excited about the Gold Fury.
But look at this solo lane right now. Nexamiss is having an easy time of things. 2 levels up now over yoyoabc. Some of that's down to blue buff invades as well, but just general better farming.
So right now, as we're looking at a pretty even game here, Hinduman. You see a decent lead, about 1,500 in the way for Forgot to Trade, but for all intents and purposes, I think it's pretty even. Jumpa again getting aggressive. Good freeze coming out from Supra. That'll be the deterrent. That's what I was going to talk about. Where the teams are relatively even, but the jungles certainly aren't. Almost a full level for our Susano player over here, Jumpa. How can the Susano really make his lead known and make himself himself useful.
With plays like this from the team, trying to group up with the Gold Fury and force another fight to continue the damage and power and destroy the enemy jungler.
Love that combination. Knock up, bang, bang, coming out from Mythic. That time Jumper says, nah, that's going to be my kill. That's his 4th kill of the contest to complement a 100% perfect kill participation percentage. 4-0-2, 6 kills in total.
Lou with the steal.
I know it's early on, but
Lou
Jump
with
is
the steal.
very excited.
Lou with the steal. Not this time. Forgot to trade will get that, and Lou will get away just in time. But going back to the start of this game, I thought this is the difference. Forgot to Trade came in with adaptations to Season 4, with the switcheroo of where people go in the lanes and who's going to do what buffs, whereas Noble Esports took 3 members mid at the start of the game to pressure mid and then invade speed. They lost experience off that. That's where the experience lead at the start of the game started to develop, and because of that, it just continued to grow the game.
So Forgot to Trade, I mean, how would you like to see them? This is only a single game series. It's not a best of anything. So assuming this was a multi-game series, how would you like to see them change their beginning to the match?
With theirs at the start, I don't think they need to change because it works out well for them in this game. All they need to really do is just continue on going forward, doing exactly what they did, and keeping the pressure onto the blue buff of yoyoabc, keeping the laners down is fine.
So it's just the fact they took their foot off the gas.
I don't think they're taking the foot off the gas at all. Forgot to Trade. Noble Esports are the ones that just, they need to adapt. Like, they need to look at the map now. The bad news is that even if they look at the map and realize where people are being, that's a very good beat out of Aeromatica there. The problem is that they need to win this game, because if they don't, they're not going to make it to the Pro League, I feel.
Yeah, no,
that's how important this game is, but not recognizing the different starts at the beginning of the game now. Don't send 3 people mid like we used to see in Season 3.
Sure.
It's an error, and it's going to cost you.
Noble Esports right here, you know, I've generally liked their solo laner yoyoabc. I think he's a strong enough player. I don't think he's a superstar of the league at all, but I don't think he's bottom feeder.
He's very
either.
solid, very solid in that.
That's a great word for Yo-Yo. He's just a solid player, and you can generally depend on him. Super and Lou as well tend to be pretty strong guys. It's the new guys that I'm unfamiliar with, Aeromatica and xNazarian. Despite the fact that Aeromatica, he's died twice, we did see a couple of almost plays come out from his Thanatos.
And when you say, you know, they're new guys as well, how have they played together before? These are the questions we don't know ourselves. Have they ever played together before? If they haven't, then they're trying to find synergy at the same time in Season 4, in a new season. Your role's the same, yeah, but your mid lane is different. Maybe one of you is aggressive and one of you is passive. It's got to balance out somewhere.
Yeah, and
takes time.
And that's exactly what I was going to say, is that playstyles can be different, but playstyles can also adapt to the enemy. Nice little ultimate coming out over there in the mid lane, and Nexamiss is able to capitalize off of the no-miss from the mid lane ultimate. Vulcan Mythic right there, looking pretty good.
Hot med though.
yoyoabc by himself here.
And that meditation just turns it around. It means Yo-Yo uses his ult, doesn't manage to get a kill, unfortunately. And that just calls out a gank attempt today. But you've seen it a couple of times that I Forgot to Trade now. The communication on this team is actually really strong, because you've seen 2 different knockups, one for
the
Rat,
stun,
one for
and
Bacchus.
there's a double knockup, Hindu man. Fantastic damage. Thanatos in the sky waiting, and Jumpa in the jungle waiting the same way. There's going to be the ultimate out of Aeromatica. Here comes Super with an ult of his own, but it's a jungle that takes care of business alongside the Ratatoskr. Very extended conversation there. 6-0-3 for the jungler now, Jumpa.
Well, you saw at the end there, Mythic clearly had a connection issue, and that's why he died. But even though people will be like, oh man, connection issue, that's a shame, that got him an extra 2 kills, because they came in to kill him to confirm the kill, which also got them killed as well. So in the grand scheme of things, I don't think they'll be too upset about that happening.
Yeah, I mean, Mythic is making plays even when he's not connected to the game. You certainly got to tip your hat towards the mid laner right there.
Yep. Exactly, and that's what you got to do. Like, this grand scheme of things, that weights out perfectly for them. But what we're seeing is these knock-up effects that we've got from Ratatoskr and Bacchus. Yep. They are so concise as a team that you see trust from Mythic in that mid lane on that Vulcan to fire his ultimate even before the flop is connected. He's like, all right, cool, I'm going to aim it here and you're going to hit it, go. And
you got to see that, and it makes me happy seeing that specifically on the relegation squads. Because when you see it from the top end teams, well, that's how Team Smite is supposed to be played. But these teams are theoretically still figuring things out, and so when you see that, that just gives a good look for the bottom level of the talent pool.
I even like the call from Rippin Holes there as well. Get the tier 1 tower, rotate with his team to push it down, and then immediately ult to the left, just in case A, he can get the farm.
Yeah.
That's the safety factor, he'll get the farm in the lane. But B is if Lou is overextending, trying to answer back with a tier 1 tower, he can force a fight onto him with a teammate potentially coming out behind him if needed.
You know, Rippin Holes is the local guy, actually, very close to hi-rez Studios down here in Georgia. He's able to come to Last Land under Elevate, if I'm not mistaken, and looked pretty strong over there in the support role.
Oh, that damage is so insane from Ymir. That was so much. It was also a Scythe at the same time that hit with a Glacial Strike and a Scythe combo. It shows the strength that Noble drafted a very strong team. Their picks and bans were good.
Yeah.
The execution at the start of the team is what's let them down a little bit. And given forgot to trade an advantage at the moment. It's not over though.
There's the ultimate out of the mid lane one more time. The Kraken comes out and it hits a number of players. Aeromatica still looking for some more damage. yoyoabc being controlled by Mythic. Nice beats, but it's a little bit too late. He runs around in circles and he just dies.
Meanwhile in the sky, Thanatos is forced out to use that ultimate. I like the rotation from LOU to mid lane there though, just to bring down the tier 1 tower. He was supporting his team by being in the area. His team though took a long time to execute that kill, but they don't get punished as much as I expected there. With 3 on such low health, it looks like they're all going to get out here.
Nah, Nexamiss, not done yet.
He was out. I'm pretty sure Aeromatica, if he would have just held his nerve and carried on channeling his ultimate there, so he's back there, he would have got out of that situation. But instead, he's going to have to take his time and wander all the way back to safety. And that actually buys more time now for the tier 1 tower to be taken on the right.
Nexamiss is not letting the Thanatos be safe or be comfortable whatsoever. The solo lane Ratatoskr able to zone out the opposition, and down goes the tier 1 tower on the right-hand side of the map.
So in the end, when you actually see what happened with Noble Esports there, yes, they got a good gank off onto 2 members. They managed to kill 1. But in the end, they lose a tier 1 tower and the portal demon, and continue to be pressured in the jungle now and have the blue buff stripped away. This is all good stuff I forgot to trade overall. Noble tried to do something, but it got answered back.
15 minutes in to our third game this afternoon. Noble Esports right now, they're trailing by about 5,000 gold. Aeromatica and yoyoabc want to turn that around as they give chase onto the jungler. Jumpa has been out of control and finally meets his maker. Aeromatica in the sky waiting for the damage. Not going to wait, finds Mythic anyway. There's the ultimate to punish the mid laner. There it is. Kraken comes out. And here's help from the side. Nice little relic use.
Do not go in. They forgot to trade. They need to get out of this fight and they need to stop it now. Because if they carry on, Noble Esports are getting back in this game off this one team fight.
yoyoabc can't reach Rippin Holes, but more importantly, Rippin Holes can't reach the rest of the opposition. That's the goal for Noble Esports. They walk into Apollo all of a sudden. LOU's able to turn it around, taking down Truancii, despite his best efforts to come see his friend.
I'm really surprised by Noble's choice there. They could have killed Rippin Holes, but I actually liked the decision on paper as well, because I expect them to go for the kill.
Right.
They go straight for the Gold Fury. This one team fight has evened the game up. The gold difference is not going to be that much now after the Gold Fury goes down. It's going to start to descend even more, and that's going to help them to get back in this game. As you can see, the gold graph now updated less than 3,000, which is a big monumental impact off that one fight, where Jump is overextended. On his own, a little bit too confident. His team's a little bit too late to come in reinforce because he's too far forward. And then one by one, like lemmings, they die.
Yeah, I mean, we see that from time to time, unfortunately. Teammates trying to save teammates, and you get there
that's the game,
sort of like a conveyor belt, right?
It's funny because that's a natural reaction in a competitive level is you need to help support. You can't just base if you're out of a fight.
Yeah.
You have to still stay around. If you've got an ability, it may make the difference between a teammate living or dying. Something could happen that's different that you don't expect. So you have to support, but then those situations arise because of it.
Nexamiss, he gets hit by the knockup, dashes forward, and gets hit by the knockup again. Very few abilities, the actual fun fact, very few abilities can hit twice with one cast.
It can, well, especially, I mean, damage-wise, some of them can, like Boulder, for example, from Hercules, but then actual CC chains is a different thing as well.
So if you're, my favorite example is Ra. This actually was changed to Searing,
he used to hit
the number 1.
Yeah.
It used to hit multiple times. So if you got hit by the first tick and dashed forward, you would continue getting hit by it over and over again.
But don't be an idiot. Don't move back in a straight line. No, it's that simple. You should be punished for that. If you're going to be stupid enough to move in a straight line against a Ra, you deserve to take more damage for it. That's my viewpoint on it anyway.
Brutal.
It's just the way it is. Like, let's be honest. If something is dealing damage across the line, if you keep walking along the same line,
it's like walking on hot coals. It's not going to get colder your next
exactly.
step.
It's still going to be as hot.
Players not used to that just yet. Forgot to trade on the left-hand side. looking to push up this tier 1 tower all by themselves.
Don't really like this call from Forgot to
Me
Trade,
neither.
honestly, on paper. Just because of the last team fight, they've evened things up a little bit. We saw the straight 5-on-5 fight. This is really forced.
It's just that it's too early
Really
right
forced.
now. Yeah, this is a really hard push. Noble Esports playing defense. Nice little knockup gets one. Help from the backline on the jungle. Rippin Holes picks up another. Down comes the Thanatos, and then it'll be the execute on Nexamiss. Looking for one more on the Apollo. Knockup is strong, and it's xXLOU that takes the life of the Apollo player. 2 players dead on the side of Forgot to Trade. Only the mid lane Poseidon really lost in that engagement. And Hindu, I hate to say it, but you were right.
Sometimes it's nice to be a commentator and say, Hingo, I don't like this call,
Yeah.
and then be proved right. Because you can look at the situation and go, we just lost a big team fight. We let them close the goal gap. They got to go back to base, get a little bit more far on the line. You can see by the experience difference on the actual levels there. It's not too far off. And then try and force the tower situation isn't great, but this one might be different.
Yeah, there's a little bit of help from the side, losing trouble, but Aeromatica is able to clean up first. Mythic, he's likely to die. Backfire on cooldown. Meatball saves him for the moment, but there's the big old cleave. And Aeromatica able to pick up another kill, his 4th of the contest.
So most of this engagement on the left-hand side now was Forgot to Trade, not recognizing, and that's a lazy bat. You should be punished for a lazy bat like that. Thanatos will kill you every time.
See you later.
He can see you in the jungle when you're low health too.
Yeah,
That's just going to help him even more. But the big thing we Forgot to Trade there is they lost a team fight, then fought. They were still far enough ahead to have another team fight that they could win and push towers down in siege. They've got an Apollo, they've got a Ratatoskr. One of them should have been in solo lane, split pushing,
just spread,
just make sure there's not a full 5-man grouping, because when they group as 5, Noble have a great team comp, and they've showed it 2 times in a row now.
Exactly. Noble was previously trailing by almost 5,000 now. Right back in it very quickly. Not only have the kills evened up 13 to 12, it's a dozen to a Baker's, and then Noble Esports, they've cut the gold lead too. That's the most important part here, along with the experience, is the fact that 1,000 in either direction is not really a lead that you can hang your hat on.
Good freeze from Jumper, sorry, from not Jumper, from Supra there, I should say. The wall was great as well. It's the wall that set him up for it for the most part. It's just a shame no teammates were in range, otherwise that could have been a rough situation for Jumper. But this Portal Demon here, good zone work so far from yoyoabc, but he can't stop Nexamiss getting in here. Oh, that Vulcan ult.
Ooh, not going to hit much of anything. Noble Esports, they get it. They get the portal, that is. That's what it is. And they immediately leave. Everybody walks out of the way. That's exactly what you want to do here. You want to pick it up and disengage as soon as possible, especially when you're nice and even.
Nobody's supposed haven't really put a step wrong in the last couple of engagements. It's mainly been just punish the mistakes Forgot to Trade have had from positioning. This call,
I like this call.
It's not bad, but Yo-Yo's here is the only awkward thing about it. And if anybody walked through that portal, it'd be a different story. We'll see if they can burst it in time. No, Vulcan up, remember. Kraken is up.
It's about 25% of the way down.
Kraken
Here
is
comes
up.
the ultimate out of the monster. And this one's going to go the way of Noble
Stolen.
Esports. Down from the sky comes the Thanatos. First execute of the contest. Right here, the team fight, rather. Nice little freeze coming out on the Mythic off screen. You see Jumper getting a kill. It's a 2-on-2 down here. Mid lane is being harassed by the jungle. Rippin Holes trying to do what he can. yoyoabc barely going to get out of here. Jumper likely to
I don't think he's going to get out. I think he should still die because Jumper's mobility is insane overall. He will be able to run him down, but now he's awkward himself.
Yeah, he's in a little spot. Nice, dodges the death scythe. But that freeze will confirm the death. 3 players still have the fire giant left, and you can see they are
and look at left-hand side.
and sound.
Look at what Lou did on the left-hand side. He pushed down a tier 2 tower after getting the fire giant. Also gets the red buff as well from the jungle. Noble Esports are now winning this game, and Forgot to Trade are off the mark. That's 2 plays in a row now. The tier 1 tower siege on the left is the first one they can look back at, and then the attempted fire giant. They should have pulled off it earlier.
Yeah.
They tried to commit to it. They saw that Noble were around. They didn't respect that fact. And they lose the fire giant as well. Now it's Noble's game to lose.
Exactly. I really liked the call initially. I thought it was a fantastic call. If somebody walks through the portal, you just turn around and murder them very quickly.
But the police were there. Like, the police were there. You generally, when you're trying to rob a store, this is for people at home who want to go out and rob stores as well, you open the door and see if the alarm goes off and if the police turn up, right?
Yeah.
Test it, first of all. Same can be said with this. Do we do the fire giant? Well, let's hit the fire giant and see if we get a response from the police.
Exactly.
Well, the police turned up and you carried on doing it. You're gonna get put in handcuffs.
You should have expected
You're
it.
going to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200 gold.
Right here. Forgot to Trade is going to go ahead and collect 500 gold as the tier 1 tower falls down. Rippin Holes. It's credit for that one. Still going to fight with Thanatos here, level 19 to 17. Right side needs a gank.
This is a good play from Forgot to Trade, though, splitting the map a little bit. I don't know about the gank on right now. The tier 1 tower's down, still trying to make a play. Vulcan doesn't connect, and Kraken does, however. Nazarian is going to still fall, which is very important. A lot of magical damage taken off the table.
Nexamiss is in trouble. He's on the floor right now, gets a little bit of a heal. He gets knocked up, smacked around. Going to be safe under his tower for now. Lou's able to get a kill right
Rippin
now on
Holes
to jump, but that's the big deal.
On the left-hand side, too, this was a 4v4, remember, because at the same time, Aeromatica was dealing with stuff. Nice backfire in the end to get him away from danger. Aegis for another second to buy him a moment, but Lou still picking him up. This tier 2 still going to fall. That teleport in from Nexamiss, I don't like it, because now you're still surrounded by 3, and you better run, son.
Look at the control. Lou picks up number 5 for him this game. Able to just control the opposition, clean up the objectives. And Noble Esports, not only have they come back, but they're now leading by 6,000 gold.
Noble have basically rolled a nat 20 2 times in a row, if not 3 times in a row, to get to this position in this game. Because this game was pretty much in bed, being put to bed by Forget to Trade up to a point where they were in full control, they'd established a lead all from the early game, and then 2 mistakes in a row have now put Noble in the driving seat with a Phoenix now down as well.
Exactly, that's the thing here is that, yeah, Noble Esports, they're in relegation. They obviously weren't the #1 team last year. But to get into the pro scene, you have to be able to at least do a couple of things right. And more importantly, if you give a team like this an inch, they're going to stretch it. They're going to make something big out of it. So Forgot to Trade doesn't make a huge, abysmal, destructive mistake, but some of the issues that they had during the early game, Noble Esports are able to really just exploit completely.
And that's definitely the key here. Is Noble's early game needs to be corrected going forward, but the decisions after the early game have been very solid. They've not really made many mistakes at all. I love the idea of Aeromatica that went to the left-hand side there to make sure Rippin Holes couldn't take down 3 towers on the left-hand side by not being involved in the game. It did create a 4v4 on the right, but with the Fire Giant buff from the team still, it worked out very, very well. Denied Rippin Holes doing anything, and then allowed his team to continue doing work on the front.
yoyoabc out here playing zone duty. 50% of the big baby, despite the ultimate. This is going to be trouble. Nice crits coming out. There's a Kraken to separate the 2 teams. Not good enough. Kraken will help out and take care of the life of Rippin Holes.
And that was just kill whoring more than anything from Rippin Holes there. He was looking for kills and didn't really think about it. That was the biggest problem with him there, was he went for the kill, didn't realize how far forward he was and got killed. That was terrible.
Down comes Thanatos, big play right there. Lou's gonna connect as well. Oh, Thanatos with the stun. That's such a big play right here, especially at this moment in the game. You see Truancii fall down as well.
Not good.
20 kills to 16. The swing is huge.
I hate to see this happen to teams like Forgot to Trade, who got off to such a great start and controlled this game from the outset. But at the same time, I love to see it from teams of Noble where they are behind, but they still hold out hope, and it comes up big for them. It's one of those weird things where you're like, wow. One team you feel sorry for, one team you feel very elated for.
And you're gonna, and you feel there's a certain level of almost like anecdotal pride where you're sitting there and you go, man, I remember when I made the comeback in my own ranked game or whatnot. Everybody likes to see that story.
I'm actually seeing them on the higher levels as a player as well, like in the Pro League and the Console League. Very, very good to see them, how they happen. And relegation teams, both of these 2 teams were in the Pro League last year. Like, they both were, and they're both trying to vie back in, but at the moment, it looks like Forgot to Trade with how this game has gone now. They might not be coming back.
I'm not sure about that one. Surprise! Noble Esports pick up their Fire Giant. Well, Forgot to Trade do literally anything else.
They can't do anything with that now as well. Like, this the thing is, now that they've got the Fire Giant online, they've got to defend against the Phoenixes and hope for it. The difference is that their clear on defense is not great.
Look at this.
Look at the defense from Forgot to Trade in terms of wave clear.
Look at the offense, though. Oh, I thought we were going to see the 5-man, jump over the wall destruction. Freeze coming out. The Ymir will chase out the beans on Rippin Holes. Mid lane is going to be the target. Ultimate out of Mythic. Not going to find the mark. Jumper able to get credit. Down from the sky comes Aeromatica. Not going to hit anybody. But Truancii picks up another one. 2 dead on the side of Noble. Fire Giant or nah. Aeromatica in some trouble. Nobody really giving chase. But with 3 players left with the Fire Giant, it's just really rough.
Not a bad play from Forgot to Trade to hold that Phoenix. They still lose the Phoenix there, though. But at the same time, they do slow down the advance. The game could have ended off that if the team fight goes differently.
Oh, absolutely.
It's bought Forgot to Trade a couple more minutes now in the grand scheme of things. But it's not enough to write home about you. Mythic in the mid lane on this Vulcan. He's going for big-time ultimates every single time. This Earthshaker has been fired time and time again from max range looking for the big play.
And I like it.
I don't.
You don't?
I don't. If he just held it and just fired it when he saw 4 guys grouped up, even if it's shorter range, it's more confirmed damage than a one-shot. A one-shot is a great thing to see. You love it as a mage. That's one of the reasons. It's one of the reasons people make mages, right? It's to one-shot people. But getting confirmed damage off is more important than trying to make the highlight reel play. And in a situation like this, getting the confirmed damage is more important than trying to go for a highlight reel. You're up against it, you're trying to get back into the console league one more time, you have to hit damage.
Always play for the Jiffy Cat.
Nah, man. Nah. Don't agree with that. I don't agree. In my casual games, sure. Casual games, sure.
Absolutely.
Relegation fight tournament where you've already down 1 game? Nah, bro. I'm fine. I'm fine. You just throw out the mini range Vulcan ult, confirm me some damage, and I'm happier with you than getting that one turnaround player that kills a guy.
All right, you know, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt for now. But if we see a giant Vulcan ult save the game...
Maybe he does it, but in the grand scheme of things, that's risky. It's risk versus reward every single time. That's where you've always got to look at stuff. And right now, with how this game is, with that right Phoenix respawn, only 1 left on Phoenix left that's at full health, he kind of needs to make one of these plays now in one way of looking at it.
That's what we're going to see. We're going to see the all-out push here on the left side. Not only does Noble Esports have the positioning available, a couple of Fire Giants left, but the wave will also show up. There's the Frenzy. That's going to hurt. Down from the sky comes the 2 globals. Nice little stun out of the Rat. Losing trouble on the left, but everybody else is in trouble on the right. Rippin Holes gets ripped through. Yo, ABC. Jumpa, on the other hand, doing his best Jumpman impersonation. Going to look for another kill. Can't find it. Jumpa trying to weave in and out. Gets the dash, but 1 more hit out of Aeromatica. xxLOU able to clean up as well. 3 players dead, 4 players dead. That be that. And the game gets taken by Noble Esports.
I love that build from Aeromatica as well. I know we've not touched on it yet, but I love the fact that he's got the Blood Forge, which when he gets a kill or an assist, he gets mobility, he gets a shield to keep himself going, and then Thanatos' natural passive kicks in where he heals up off those. That's a really big thing for them. Noble Esports do find the win after going down early, but if they want to continue, they've got at least 1 more game to play. But what they have to do in that game is correct their start. Otherwise, other teams won't be so lenient.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier, the fact that Noble was having trouble in the early game, able to turn that one around. Aeromatica, you mentioned his build, very interesting stuff coming out. Of course, has the standard Shield of Regrowth, but look at what he was able to do with this build. Just fantastic plays, largely from the accuracy.
Just point out, this is the fight. This is the one fight that turned the game around, where forgot to trade, you can see the gold lead at the moment between the 2, and this is the fight after that fight where it continued again.
Yeah, I mean, these fights don't ever seem to end. Look how fast Aeromatica is right here, and this is as dead as they come on the Vulcan, level 15 on this Thanatos. Very strong stuff coming out from the jungler on Noble.
And the lazy back.
Bam.
It's sad to get caught in a highlight reel with a lazy back, and when you're that low health against a Thanatos, sudden death is going to kill you every time.
Every single time. You can take to the sky and look for the executes as well. Right on top. Truancii falls down. So right here, Noble take that game. That's going to change the way the standings look. They'll have 1 win and 1 loss, whereas Forgot to Trade will wind up with 2.
Nice.